Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this one, I want to do a breakdown of the battle between the GM and the Gundam EX from Requiem for Vengeance, because that's pretty badass that happened. So, yeah, let's jump in. All right, so, the Zeon soldiers are infiltrating the Federation base to capture GMs. And right away, we have the, which looks amazing, the Gundam EX coming out of a hangar, and it shot one of the GMs that had been taken by a Zeon soldier. And first, there's a bit of like a standoff, and this happens to be because these are new types, so there's some brainwave activity going on there. And we take a look at the GM here. So this is an RGM-79. And obviously, it looks different, especially when we look at the original series, how it looks here. But it has taken on different forms as, newer media has come out. Here's MS Igloo, which I think is a good comparison. And then even when we get to like the White Dingoes type, I think UC Gundam at this point did a good job of really kind of cementing the look of the GM. But I think what this new one sort of shows off is maybe less armor, more of a prototype type of skeletal structure going on. And the difference with this one actually having that 3 beam saber rack, which is a really cool look to it. And another little thing too, it might be hard to notice, the GM head sort of kind of goes flat and down on the sides. Let me see if I can find a good variation of that. With something like the White Dingo, we get it seems to curve more down at the bottom, which is reminiscent with what they're doing here. And also it's like it doesn't have the complete shoulder armor from the typical GM would see. And it makes sense, it's still early on in the war. GMs are being like, thrown out to wherever on Earth they possibly could be. And maybe like the fully developed ones are being sent into space for like Solomon, Baoku, those battles that are kind of pivotal in the One-Year War. Okay, see, beam saber rack, I love this look, with the beam saber having the blue. And then, yeah, it pulls out its beam saber as well. Yeah, I love that it immediately went for sort of that, that Star Wars lightsaber thing. I like that. And it's really cool how they made the beam blades here, how there's a lot more texture and energy to it instead of a straight light, like a lightsaber. Although I kind of like that look and that kind of makes more sense. I guess it depends what the light technology is. Like if it's light versus like plasma. Okay, and really cool shots here, getting clear, from the lighting. Do you see that camera movement there? Let's go back. I know people call on the cinematics, but look at that. Look at the camera movement, foreground, background. Okay, I kind of want to see that again with the way the beam sabers, overhead strike, block, another little block, another strike. So, I mean, that was a cool, like, sword fighting moment of, like, ducking over, blocking, attacking. Here's a look at the GM that the other Zeon soldier was in kind of getting another look. And even though it seemed like the head was really curvy, I guess it's more toward as it gets to the front, but it still has that drop down on the side. Just a little thing, but I like to look at the design elements of these. Yeah, and even looking at the arm where the shoulder is, it's like there could be more armor on there. So I guess the confirmation of the look it has where it looks like it's skinnier, there's more divots or parts to it, could be because it has less armor in general. Okay, this is a really cool scene because we're having, this Federation soldier that was pointing a gun at a Zeon soldier, and we see the battle happening in the background. He's looking up scared because something's coming. Yeah, and then look, the camera shot here, again, the camera has some great movement. Okay, so the first main, I guess, big attack here is the Gundam EX cutting off the arm of a GM, because both of these are new type pilots, and I'm sure Solari has a lot more experience on the field considering she's like the wolf mother, of that Red Wolf Squadron. So, is it due to the type of mobile suit or their new type powers, that the Gundam EX was easily able to cut off the arm? And really cool seeing the arm fall and almost hit someone. It's that attention to detail that I really like. And love that in the background, while we're seeing characters on the ground running, we're still seeing the battle happen. And I think that helps add depth. Really cool shot here because the Gundam EX is like holding the beam saber, like almost upside down, blocking the GM's lightsaber hit. And I love it too. There's some more choreography going on while we're seeing the troops on the ground. They're in the foreground, their head is blurred, and we're seeing what's going on in the back there. And this is at night. I mean, this looks excellent. This shot is so well done. We have a flare that's being shot in the sky. The camera in this part is it almost looks like it would be like on a helicopter, like flying over, looking down, very cinematic. And so, yeah, let's take a look at it there and how great that looks. And you can see the thrust on the mobile suit, like the GM working as it's trying to hold itself forward while getting hit by the Gundam EX. Some more of that shot that I really like here. I mean, look at how much sword fighting, beam saber fighting we're getting. So that's pretty neat. I like how we got to see a close-up of both of the head portion of the mobile suits. They're kind of locked in battle, and then we see, which I love, even though the mobile suit does have Vulcans, and it seems to be 4 on the forehead, it still has its Gatling gun over its shoulder that it pops out. And wow, so look at that. It tried to fire, and that maybe gave a window for the EX to attack when Solari and the GM had to react to that. And that was cutting off the arm and the head. And it was so clean how that was done that I feel like that is a awesome combat maneuver that new type kid must have had in his pocket to pull off. I mean, he's been able to practice on a bunch of Zakus so far. All right, then we see it tumbling back down. Now, this is a cool shot because as it's falling, we're seeing the Gundam EX in the background still standing. Yeah, that looks great. All of those, the water, the piece. Okay, and then putting the beam saber back in the rack and it going back down. I love that addition here. And then, yeah, taking out the beam gun. Because this is, pivotal to the story, and I love the 78 EX on the chest, but this is where the Gundam EX could take out the pilot. All right, and a Zaku 2 coming in to kind of stop the shot. Look, he could have taken the shot if he wanted to, and he didn't. I think he was thinking about it because of that kind of new type connection, because earlier, with the other Zeon soldier that infiltrated and took the GM, as soon as the warehouse doors opened, the Gundam pilot took its beam gun and shot it. All right, but yeah, the Zaku jumps in front, nice slow-mo. Yeah, enough of the sort of those tank treads put on the shield to kind of help be a buffer, because the beam blast is going to just melt away, as we could see with the, I guess, like the gore here, mechanical gore, which is a cool addition to make it make sense to be fighting up against beam weaponry for the first time. This is very new to the Principality of Zeon to go up against this beam weaponry. They talk about it a lot at the beginning of the show, but they kind of show how they make use of their kit bashing. Awesome shot of a Zaku 2 here, you gotta say. And I kind of like how there looks to be something on the top of the head here. Could be like an additional little camera sensor. And then we see little antennas on the side that look pretty cool. All right, and then it just plows right into him. Okay, this is gonna go one way. Okay, I want to take a look at that because the Zaku gun aimed, around the eye. I'm sure that's going to be a more vulnerable area to hit compared to the rest of the body. It takes damage there and kind of looks pretty neat, actually. And then, yeah, the beam blast to the chest. Yeah, not going to survive that. But this was an awesome slow-mo shot. Again, what we're seeing with this fight scene is excellent cinematography done with the camera to make it feel like it's cinematic, but also the choreography of each move, how they're setting up based on what weapons they have. And then kind of the end of the battle, even though this is more about the GM versus the Gundam EX, but we could see that a Zaku came and it just swatted it like a fly. Again, a nice shot. I love these shots where it's kind of showing the world that we're in. The Zaku 2 is just melting. Love the background shot there. How it went out of focus, then in focus. So anyway, there we have it. That's the RGM-79 from Requiem for Vengeance versus the Gundam EX. It's kind of cool to see a GM versus a Gundam fight anyway, but the RGM is kind of a different version. This could be more of a incomplete version just because it looks like there's just less armor on it. So I don't think it really takes away too much from what we know, but almost kind of just adds to what were the machines like at those certain points in the war. And then the Gundam EX, it just had a lot it could do. And again, that shoulder cannon Gatling, I love that. The 3 beam saber rack, I love that. But what was it? Was it the pilots or the mobile suits that determined this? I would think a lot of it has to do with maybe Solari just holding back in general, as we can see with what goes on further down the line. But could the Gundam EX have been holding back too, because it was taking off limbs, taking off the head. It wasn't necessarily going for the cockpit unless it had no choice. I think that's a really open-ended battle, and it's really hard to say, but I think it just makes it fun. The choreography of the beam sabers fighting is excellent. The camera work, where we get a lot of zoomed out shots where it's like aerial view, where we can see the scale and the scope of the battle. Anyway, all, let me know what you think. Yeah, put your comments below. And thanks to all the supporters that make this possible. Check the links in the description if that's something you're interested in. And we have a Discord. Check that out. That's a lot of fun too. But until next time, be cool.